Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Digital Transformation Campaign, hosted by the Telegraph Online. I'm Alistair Greener. Organisations take it for granted that when they switch on the computers in any corner of the world, their staff have immediate access to the universe. Now, this freedom of rapid global movement of information is our zeitgeist, but we struggle with speed, accessibility, performance. And these have become life and death questions. How do we answer them? Well, my guest is Paul Hayward from Dyn. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we hear more and more stories about how the internet has made businesses victorious. So does this make the internet business's best friend?
I think I've got to push a question back on you. Can you imagine your life? Actually, no. Can you imagine just your business life without access to the internet?
Absolutely not.
Which is the answer I expected, but also it's crazy because 4 decades ago the internet didn't exist. But yet today it's scaled to the point where it's a system that includes over 3 billion users. And we're talking about 3 times the population of the continent of Africa. So what we're really talking about here is it's about access to that community. And the organisations that get that right, it can be a huge enabler for them.
So if it's an enabler, it therefore must be business's best friend.
Yeah, I think if you think about best friends, I have a best friend and we've argued and fought many a time, but it's a rich relationship. I think the internet is no different. It's a young system, so it's fraught with challenges for organisations. And the organisations that we see that are really getting that right are organisations that really think about what they want to get out of that relationship.
What are these challenges that you talk about?
The challenges of the internet are really boiled down to kind of 3 things. It's about access, it's about performance, and it's about risk. What I mean there is it's about how do I connect to it? Who do I connect to? Why do I connect to them? When do I connect to them? And then really understanding, the metrics that underpin those things. Once you're at that point, you can start to think about how you overcome those challenges.
Okay, so let's actually look at the specifics. Can you maybe give me some examples of how those challenges effectively create obstacles for businesses to work?
We've got to think about the areas of industry and business that have been very successful at manipulating and utilising internet, and those that are perhaps not the early adopters. And that's really introducing this idea of the web natives and more traditional organisations. And the web natives, this is in their DNA, this is where they were born, whereas more traditional businesses, this is new territory for them. Some of these businesses are centuries old, not decades, centuries old.
Okay, so what makes the natives, as you call them, better than the rest?
I think predominantly it is cultural. I think it is this concept of failing fast.
What is this failing fast?
So failing fast is really about the celebration of failure on the road to success. This is really about saying every time I fail, I learn something. Every time I fail, I get it out of the way and I'm closer to success.
Well, you say that, but it's impossible to imagine organisations like BP or Vodafone celebrating failure in the form of saying, hey, listen, isn't this great? We've lost all these millions of pounds and spent all of these months on a failed project. I mean, what can they do?
Well, I certainly wouldn't advocate a failure mentality to any of those organisations. And I think the reality is that they need to play to their strengths. It's really about the process of evolution for these organisations as they look to adopt the internet and take advantage of the internet. And when we talk about this evolution, as I mentioned earlier, some of these organisations are centuries old and they have lines of businesses that are delivering billions of pounds in revenue back to their bottom line, and also servicing a customer's employees in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So really the organisations we see getting it right from an industrial organisation perspective are the ones that really understand their desired state. Where are they trying to get to? And also understand their positive business outcomes in terms of when we get there, this is what we're going to get. And once you can understand these things, you can start to understand your required capabilities. What are the things we actually need? Let's start boiling this down. And ultimately you get to a set of metrics that you need to achieve in order to earn that success.
Okay, so let's talk about success, but let's talk about Dyn as well. So what do you do and what solutions do you bring to the table?
Dyn is an internet performance management company. Internet performance management is about providing visibility and control across the public internet. And fundamentally, we're about generating these metrics and supporting these metrics, which allow organizations to transform into the internet and into an internet-first business. Our customers really have the ability to leverage the internet in a very unique way. They're able to use the internet as if they own it.
Now, we've talked a lot about the incredible speed at which the internet has changed over the last few decades, from not being around at all to where we are today. So now let's look forward. What are the sort of trends we should be looking at in the future?
We say the internet's not very old, and I still agree with that. The CEO of Alibaba famously said that a few months ago. But yet we're still talking about something with over 3 billion users. We're talking about something that has over 10 billion devices connected to it. And we're also talking about something that is only at 50% capacity, in terms of only half the world are now using it. But this is also an environment and a theatre where we see over 4,000 instabilities, outages and hijacks every single day. It's the Wild West in many ways. I think because of the appeal of the internet, we're going to continue to see this trend of cloud adoption, business transformation. But as more and more reliance is put on the internet, we're going to have to boil down to a greater level of visibility and control and understanding of what's happening. And as I said, organizations need to have this feeling internally that they use the internet like they own it.
Well, it's been fascinating finding out more about internet performance management and the consequences for business. Paul Hayward from Dyn, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.